Sweet boy. I love you. Such a beautiful morning, huh? I love you. Do you want me to move your leash closer, honey? Let's move your leash closer. Well, if you want to go upstairs, you're welcome to, honey. I don't have your bed made, but here, you can go up there if you want. Hold on, let me help you. There you go. See if I can do this without spilling my coffee. Oh, what a morning. Last night I turned the diesel heater on the lowest setting and it was so hot inside my camper. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and turning off the heater and not using any form of heat last night. It was that warm outside. I think it averaged around 42 degrees Fahrenheit and that has been so warm compared to what we've been sleeping in. I did end up having to get my quilt out on top of my sleeping bag because we got a little bit chilled, but it was so nice to be cozy and cold versus cozy and hot. I like to sleep cold, like I like to have a fan on, I like to have a window cracked or whatever. So it was really nice to be able to sleep kind of like I was in an igloo. This morning we woke up and it was 45 degrees Fahrenheit and it is now in the 50s and I think it's gonna hit almost 70 degrees Fahrenheit today. Did you jump out of the car to come see me? You're super affectionate this morning. It's just so crazy to think that we're having these really warm temperatures this early in winter, or this deep into winter, I should say. It's February and I don't know, usually February in altitude up in Colorado is covered in snow, it's snowing, it's cold, and I feel like we've just had a really odd winter. I will say I'm usually at 9,000+ feet elevation, so that is also a contributing factor to this weather, I think. I'm in southern Colorado and they're lower elevation, even though we're at altitude, it's lower than where I'm usually at in the winter times when I spend time here in Colorado. A lot of people have been asking why I didn't go south, like to Arizona for the winter. And honestly, I did address some of that in a previous video, but to expand further, I grew up in Southern California, so that type of terrain is something I have basically been in the majority of my outdoor adventures. I really just didn't want to be in that terrain. I'm not a huge fan of the desert. I don't really enjoy that type of terrain. I think it's beautiful, but I usually only do that in small doses. I did consider going to Quartzsite and spending some time out there, but I'm also not a big fan of crowds and being camped next to a lot of people. And that was just a really big turnoff for me as far as going there this winter. And I wanted to be somewhere that felt right to me, and being in Colorado felt right. And to expand on that, like I said in a previous video, I had a job in Colorado that unfortunately fell through. So I ended up coming to Colorado for that reason. But when that job fell through, it didn't make sense for me to spend money I didn't have to go to a different location. So I've been in survival mode for a lot of this winter. Another reason why I kind of wanted to stay in Colorado is because I did end up getting a job and it's in South Dakota. I'm really excited about going to South Dakota because, gosh, I could probably sit here and list 100 different reasons, but I will narrow that down. But one thing is I just love the vibe of the Black Hills. There's something special about that location that just really calls to me. And every time I'm there, I just feel like I'm at home. Another thing, I love the history, the American rich culture, the indigenous history, and understanding the different cultures and heritages that are present in that location. And another thing is I love the Wild Wild West. And there's a lot of cool little towns in the Black Hills that are just capturing moments of history. And I just really love to be in that environment. And I'm also really looking forward to possibly attending Sturgis. I haven't made a decision if I'm going to this year or not. Ultimately, I kind of just want to be around when all of the people are there. I think that would be kind of cool to experience from afar. When I claimed residency in South Dakota, it happened to be the week before Sturgis, and I was not familiar with Sturgis, I will admit. I didn't grow up around motorcycles or anything like that, so I really didn't have an idea. So like when I got there, I couldn't find a place to stay. Everything was booked and I had no idea why. I was like, why is South Dakota booked right now? And it's because it was the week before Sturgis and it was triple digit, and we couldn't find a place with AC, and I had 3 dogs and we were living in my 4Runner at the time, and it was like I needed to stay somewhere for one night to, you know, initiate that process. And it was so hard, but I ended up finding this little cabin that had no AC, but it had a fan, and I was able to claim my residency. But when I was there, I got to see all of the people on their motorcycles, and it was just a really cool vibe. I'm looking forward to experiencing that, hopefully. I also had a really good time when my girlfriends and I met up in South Dakota, and we went off-roading and camping and just exploring the different cool places out there. And I feel like we didn't even dive into it. I feel like I've just touched the surface with off-roading and exploring some of those back roads in South Dakota's Black Hills. So I'm really excited to go back, have a little bit more confidence, and maybe even meet some locals who will take me to some of their favorite places. It's gonna be a little bit different, I think, this year. I'm gonna be living in the Casita, of course, but I might not be moving around as much because I do have a job. It makes me a little bit nervous because I haven't really been posted up in one spot for a long period of time. And anytime that I've gotten close to that, I've gotten restless, and I feel like I lose creativity with my channel and things like that. So I don't want to be discontent in any part of my life. So this could actually be a really good thing for me and my faith and my mental capacity. I'm still going to be bringing you guys content every week and showing you the beautiful Black Hills, and hopefully you guys enjoy that as much as I do, because there is something very special with this location to me, and I really want to share that with you. Another thing I'm really excited about in this next chapter is that this location is close to some of my favorite national forests. I have a lot of memories in these places that have resonated with me that I'm really looking forward to going back and exploring. But right now I have to do what's best for my little family. I have been desperately seeking a job these last 2 years, and it's been a very challenging and competitive market. I've had a lot of rejections. I've had to really test my faith, and ultimately God provided this killer opportunity for me to continue to make my car payment, because I'm almost paid off on my 4Runner, put food on the table, and at the end of the day, that's what's really important. Now, it is a temporary gig. I'm not going to be staying up there full time. I will be there for a good portion of this year though, so be prepared for some awesome South Dakota content, and I am uber excited, if I may say that. It's always a little bit weird leaving camp unattended to go explore or hike or something. So I'm a little ready to get back to camp and just check on everything. I mean, I lock everything up, but you just never know if anybody's gonna go pilfer through camp. It's always a risk you take when you go explore and you're by yourself. But I will say today was supposed to be extremely cold, and it is warm. It's probably only like 45 degrees Fahrenheit right now, but walk in and getting our blood pumping and our bodies moving, it feels a little bit warmer than that. So I am not complaining. This is awesome. There's still a little bit of snow. It's been snowing off and on for the last couple of weeks, but that is what's left. We got off the trail and now we're back on the road, but there's endless possibilities for hiking out here, and off-roading and horseback riding and ATVing and dirt biking. There's so much cool stuff to see. Okay. We are back at home. Yeah, buddy, you ready for some water? I know I am. It feels so good to be back at camp, knowing that everything is where I left it. No one seemed to come in here and tamper with camp, and that's always such a good feeling. It's also really awesome to go explore the surrounding area where I'm camping. It gives me a peace of mind as to what's going on around me, and I was able to identify several different people that were camping around me that I didn't know were here. That's kind of cool. So now I know, like, when I hear a noise in the middle of the night, it's probably somebody at their camp, not someone outside my door. I'm out of breath and it feels really good outside, but that walk was something special. I will say that when it is cold, going on these walks and things like that, as hard as it might be at first to get out there in those temperatures, it helps warm up the body. It doesn't actually feel that cold. So now we're gonna go take a nap, I think, in the casita and just enjoy the rest of our day.